We'll start with a discussion of parking in a bay in reverse gear. There are many ways that this can be done. We will show you only two of them, the ones that we think are the most simple. The first and the easiest way assumes that parking spaces are marked with lines. We shall use one of these lines as a guide. The considered technique works when you reverse into the parking space either from the right or from the left. We shall discuss parking from the right side. You want to park between two cars. To make it easier to distinguish the parking places, let's mark some of them with letters A, B, and C. So we are going to park on the spot A. We start as usual with the initial position before parking. The driver passes over parking space C and stops. Lateral interval to the car parked at the spot B must be at least 3 to 4 feet, but the farther away you are, the easier it will be to park. In this case, you must also have at least 3 to 4 feet of free space on the left side, because when you start reversing, the front part of your car shifts to the left side. When parking in a bay, we take the last line of parking space C as a reference point. The driver starts to move and drives in a straight line. When he sees this line in the middle of his front window, he turns the steering wheel as far as it goes in the direction of the parking space. If you do it correctly and at the right moment, your car will turn to the center of the parking space A. Once you end up parallel to the lines, turn the steering wheel in the straightforward position. Then you just drive deeper into the parking space and stop. Parking in a bay is considered easier than parallel parking, but there are certain nuances that need to be taken into account. Let's discuss the last stage of the parking process, that is, when you're going to align your car with the marking lines. Let's see how to do it the easiest way. Parking spaces across from your parking space are in the same line with the ones on your side. You can align your car with the lines by using, for reference, the lines across from you. If there are no lines marked across from you, you can align your car with the marking lines using side mirrors. Direct your side mirrors downward so you can see the lines in order to align your car with them. By positioning your car properly, that is, parallel to the marked lines, you will complete parking without any problem. But if for some reason you fail to do this, the car will end up in the corner of a parking space. Even a slight deviation from the correct trajectory can lead to that result. Hence, the seemingly simple point of parallelism should be treated with care. A question: how to fix this situation? The problem is that the back end of the vehicle is not located in the center of the parking space. If you immediately turn the steering wheel to the left, the car ends up being parallel with the marking lines, but on the edge of the parking space. The best thing to do would be to turn the steering wheel slightly to the right and to drive forward until the back end of the car is in the center of the parking space. Then finish the parking process by driving in reverse gear. During the training course, you cannot be expected to park right in the middle of a parking space each time. It is not possible to repeat the same movement with 100% accuracy. If you see that the car is not in the center, but at the edge of the parking space, think first which way to turn the steering wheel in order to direct the back end of the car to the center of the parking space. In this particular case, we need to turn the steering wheel to the right. As soon as the back end of the vehicle is in the middle of the space, you have to turn the steering wheel to the left and finish parking. Let's see how it looks on the animation. In the process, do not forget that the front of your car will shift towards the neighboring car. Make sure you have enough space for such a maneuver. If your car is already halfway inside the parking space and there is little space left to the adjacent car, it would be safest to drive forward. There are many ways to correct this situation. In our case, the driver turns the steering wheel to the right and moves the car forward until the back end of the vehicle is in the middle of the parking space. Then he turns the steering wheel to the right as far as it goes and backs into the parking space. A question: why did the driver not drive correctly to the middle of the parking space but ended up on the edge? What did he do wrong? In this case, the driver did not turn the steering wheel at the right moment, but a little too late when he had already passed the line indicating parking space C. As a result, the car went to the far edge of the parking space. In fact, all cars have different steering angles. This angle depends on various factors, including the distance between the front and back axles. Thus, the driver always takes his car into consideration and looks for the best moment to turn the steering wheel. When you are practicing, analyze why you managed or failed to park on the first try. If you find yourself at the far edge of the parking space, try turning the steering wheel a little bit sooner. If you end up near the closer edge of the parking space, turn the steering wheel a little bit later.